The price of greed. Long ago, there existed a magnificent and prosperous kingdom ruled by King Birendra. The kingdom was rich with fertile farms, bustling markets, and grand palaces made of marble and gold. The people lived in peace and happiness. King Birendra was once known as a wise and fair ruler. He listened to his people, protected the weak, and ruled with justice. Because of this, the citizens loved and respected him deeply. The kingdom flourished under his rule, and there seemed to be no shortage of wealth, food, or prosperity. But as time passed, something began to change inside the king. A quiet whisper of greed slowly grew within his heart. One night, while staring at his overflowing treasury, the king thought to himself, "I already have so much, but what if I had even more? Why should anyone else have wealth when it could all belong to me?" From that moment, his desire for power and riches began to consume him. Soon, the king started increasing taxes across the kingdom. Farmers were forced to give a large portion of their crops to the royal treasury. Merchants had to hand over heavy payments just to continue their trade. Soldiers went from village to village collecting grain, coins, and valuables. The once joyful people of the kingdom slowly began to suffer. Families struggled to find enough food, and the laughter that once filled the markets started to disappear. While the people suffered, the king's treasure only continued to grow. The royal vaults filled with mountains of gold coins, shining jewels, and priceless artifacts. Every day, more wealth was brought into the palace. King Birendra often walked through his treasure chamber, smiling proudly at the endless piles of gold. But the richer he became, the colder his heart grew. Then one year, disaster struck the kingdom. A terrible drought spread across the land. The rivers dried up, the crops withered, and the once green fields turned into cracked earth. Villagers became weak with hunger. Children cried for food that their parents could no longer provide. Desperate and afraid, the people turned to the palace for help. A large crowd gathered outside the palace gates. They begged the king for food and relief from their suffering. But King Birendra refused. He feared that opening the royal treasury would reduce his wealth. "If I give them my gold now," he thought, "my treasure will slowly disappear." And so, the palace gates remained closed. Anger and despair spread among the people. Many families abandoned the kingdom in search of survival elsewhere. Markets shut down, farms were left empty, and trade completely stopped. The once glorious kingdom slowly became silent and lifeless. What had once been a thriving empire was now nothing more than a shadow of its former glory. Then one dark night, an enemy kingdom launched an attack. Without loyal soldiers or supportive citizens to defend him, King Birendra was powerless. The palace gates were broken. The royal treasury was looted. Flames rose high into the night sky as the once magnificent palace fell into chaos. Within hours, everything the king had built was gone. King Birendra barely escaped with his life. He ran into the dark forest, leaving behind his crown, his palace, and his treasure. The man who once ruled an entire kingdom now had nothing. Years passed. The proud king who once sat upon a golden throne was now wandering the streets in torn clothes. Hungry and weak, he survived by begging strangers for food. No one recognized him anymore. The king who once demanded wealth from everyone was now completely dependent on the kindness of others. One evening, the former king sat outside a small temple. Tears filled his eyes as he whispered to himself, "If only I had not been so greedy. If I had cared for my people, my kingdom would still stand today." In that moment, he finally understood the truth. Greed had taken everything from him. Greed may promise power and wealth, but in the end, it often destroys everything. A person whose heart is consumed by greed eventually loses not only their riches, but also their honor, their people, and their future. Because in the end, greed always demands a price. Welcome to the silent path.